What's up guys, Chris here with another 4 Nights of the Apocalypse video, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys very briefly about a character from the 7 Deadly Sins that I believe we all know quite well, to be Mael. Now, this is something that I've been thinking in the back of my mind for a little while now, primarily when we first got the teaser sketches for the 4 Nights of the Apocalypse with some early character designs and the like, one of which seemingly to be Mael extending his hand out to someone. Now, over the last few videos, I've had people in my comment sections mentioning that perhaps Mael will make an appearance, perhaps Mael will give sunshine to someone, perhaps even the 4th night of the apocalypse will in fact have sunshine, and maybe it could be a member of the Goddess clan for all we know, or Gelda and Zeldris. But I'm going to talk to you guys about my thoughts on how Mael could play a role in the story, and if whether or not he is going to pass on sunshine. But before we get into the actual video, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos, it really does help. Also, don't forget to check me out on Twitter and Instagram, as I do post pretty frequently on Twitter and Instagram whenever I do more videos. So with that out of the way, let's get into the video right after the intro. Alright, so before we get into anything, let's think about where we last left off Mael. Mael, we last saw him during the Cursed by Light movie, which is 100% canon to be between the final chapter of the 7 Deadly Sins and the 4 Nights of the Apocalypse, where they defeated the Supreme Deity. And Mael, honestly, despite being a very powerful character, he did not do much in that movie, pretty disappointingly. And it could have benefited of that movie being an arc in and of itself. But that aside, when the 7 Deadly Sins manga ended, we got sketches from Nakama Suzuki when he was drafting out the earlier portions of the 4 Nights of the Apocalypse and coming up with the character designs and the like. One of them, as I just mentioned in the opening introduction, is the fact that Mael was in fact pretty noticeable pretty much in the front portion of this collage. And that got many people thinking that perhaps now Mael will have a much bigger role to play in the story going forward, as when we got the whole Estarossa to Mael reveal in the 7 Deadly Sins, he didn't do too much after the initial battle with the original demon. He popped up to try and fight the Demon King, but could not. Then, when the second battle with the Demon King showed up, he didn't do anything. He just gave sunshine back to Escanor so he could fight the Demon King with the rest of the Sins, because, you know, story convenience, even though we all would have loved to see Mael go full throttle, perhaps use his version of the One in the story. And then the Chaos Arc, it was just focusing on the Sins, did not focus on Mael whatsoever, and Mael did nothing in the Cursed by Light movie. And a lot of people, including myself, do like Mael. The big twist that Mael was Estarossa and just how strong he actually is, especially now that he has Sunshine, a power that made Escanor pretty much on par with the likes of a literal deity in the 7 Deadly Sins world, at least hand-to-hand combat-wise, is very enticing and very interesting. But we have no idea if Mael is going to make a full-on appearance or if he's going to play a major role, as he was kind of sidelined after his initial fight alongside the others against Demon King Meliodas. But that's where 4 Nights will change things, at least in my opinion. With that one sketch, Nakama is basically telling us, hey, you guys were disappointed with Mael's involvement in the final portions of the story. Don't worry, I've got some stuff planned with him for this sequel. And I have some ideas. 2 in particular. Idea number 1. Mael is the one responsible for getting the knights assembled. Now, we all know that Meliodas was the one that tasked Tristan and Lancelot to go over Britannia and find the other 2 Knights of the Apocalypse. Because let's face it, Tristan and Lancelot are in fact half of the 4 Knights. And we now have Percival, and the 4th Knight is being set up to be revealed within the next chapter or 2. That's a given. However, we don't know how Meliodas came to this realization of the 4 Knights. Because remember, the one obvious solution would be that it was Merlin, as she is hand-to-hand with Arthur. Perhaps she still had loyalty to the Sins, and that's still a very strong possibility, and that's a video in and of itself. But I think Anime Uproar kind of did something like that with Percival and Merlin being linked. But my thing could actually be that perhaps Mael managed to get some sort of hint of the prophecy of the 4 Knights and told Meliodas. Now Mael, he's a changed man and he's still carrying the burden of all the sins he carried as Estarossa. And perhaps now, a lot more matured and kind of past all that while still carrying all those burdens and guilt, wanting to do better for the world, perhaps Mael sees that if he gets these 4 knights together and guides them to be the ones to save Britannia, and perhaps tying this back to my Percival video that I did, I really want you guys to go watch that, that's a very good video, perhaps even save Arthur from himself and give him hope again, as Arthur wants to basically eradicate all of the other races in the world, the goddesses, the demons, the giants, the fairies, what have you. And Mael doesn't want that, especially now that everyone's starting to get along better, and probably because he still has a thing for Elizabeth also, and he has a lot of respect towards Meliodas now, even still, as well as the fact that he owes a lot to Escanor, as they've shared, thanks to Sunshine, a pretty strong bond. I would have loved to see more of that, but again, time constraints, most likely. So Mael sought to consult Meliodas about this, and offered the prophecy that it was given, and sent out Tristan and Lancelot to go find the knights. Now, idea number 2 ties back into idea number 1, but idea number 2 is that Mael will be the leader and mentor figure for the 4 knights. Perhaps even trying to find a suitable candidate among these knights to give Sunshine. I know this is a bit of a stretch, but the whole idea of Mael reaching out his hand to someone thanks to that sketch, it paints an image in our minds that he wants to give Sunshine to someone admirable, someone worthy, someone like Escanor. He wants to find the next Escanor, as perhaps a human or someone other than the goddess race could use Sunshine to its utmost potential to perhaps even a goddess could not reach. And that's also the headcanon that I, myself, and other people are using for the fact that why Mael gave Sunshine back to Escanor, and why he thought he couldn't stand up to the Demon King. Even though Mael being the... You know what, I'm not going to get into it. But perhaps Mael sees that he himself might not be a match on his own. But as we all know, the 4 knights are prophesied to be the ones to destroy and take down Arthur. Knights with immense magical and physical power. Enough to threaten the entire world. So, what would he do if he found out about these 4 knights? He'd want to mentor them, make them better, and to save Britannia, and perhaps, since he himself can't do anything against Arthur, even though he has the power strong enough to fight literal gods, the power of chaos will be too much. So who better to give Sunshine to than one of the 4 prophesized warriors that are said to take down this very power of chaos. There's also the fact that with Mael being essentially one of the strongest characters in the series next to Meliodas and Ban and King, to mentor these 4 knights, he could actually essentially be the best person to train them. He has one of the strongest abilities out there. Escanor was feared to be one of the strongest, if not the strongest member of the Sins by the end of the story. And Mael could be the perfect teacher to help hone their abilities to their utmost, while also putting them under immense extraneous training, and using his grace and the power of the goddess clans that he has to heal them, as he did when he healed Escanor from basically very fatal wounds, as he was literally like seconds away from death before he got Sunshine back. But again, this is all purely speculation. These ideas flow into each other as whether or not I almost said Esterosa there. On Mael either being the one that helped stoke Meliodas on to gather the 4 knights, or whether or not he wants to train them to be able to handle Sunshine and to give it to someone. Or for all we know, he could split Sunshine and give it to all 4 knights, giving them a significant power boost. In all honesty, if anyone would get Sunshine, it would probably be most likely Tristan due to the fact that he is half goddess, but maybe the demon power in him would kind of, counteract the power of the grace. It could be Percival. Percival would be, honestly, a pretty good candidate to receive Sunshine, and that would be a pretty fun idea. But there is an option that I neglected to talk about in length, as we honestly have no proof, but again, we had that image to go off of, and there is the headcanon on that Mael needs to do more in the series, as he kind of did not have much else to do after his initial fight against Demon King Meliodas. And that could be perhaps the final night of the apocalypse is personally mentored by Mael. Perhaps the 4th Knight is not a child of any of the sins whatsoever, for all we know. Perhaps, like Percival, it's someone else with immense magical power, that was abandoned or left to die for some unknown reason, or perhaps someone that the Knights of Camelot had assumed to be dead, similar to the situation with Percival, and Mael found this child, saw the potential in them, and raised them to be strong, and to be the next wielder of Sunshine. Because, like I said, with him training the four knights, being their mentor figure, it would make sense for him to train someone to take Sunshine to be even stronger than he is, especially one of the four prophesized knights that would take down Arthur. It would give them a significant power boost to be able to take down the King of Chaos. But again, that's just pure headcanon speculation with no real evidence to go on. But that would be a really cool and fun idea, and to give Mael more of a role in the story, to be a mentor figure in any sense of the word. But those are my pure ideas on what Mael's role in the story could be going forward. The core thing about it is that thanks to that one image, you got everyone speculating about it, he may very well be getting ready to give Sunshine to a worthy successor. Someone to surpass him and to surpass Escanor in legacy, so that they can take down Arthur and save the world. Again, pure speculation, not really any evidence to go off of, but I figured this would be a fun video to make before the next chapter releases, similar to what I did with the Percival video. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. What are your thoughts on Mael potentially coming back to the story? Do you think that that was in fact Mael? That sketch was very damn similar and close to Mael's actual design, so I'd love to see Mael back in the story and have him have an actual role in the progression of our new main cast, as he wasn't really truly introduced until halfway through the story, and he didn't have too much scenes after his big plot twist moment. So I want Mael to come back, and I want Sunshine to play a much bigger role in the story, and have the whole legacy of Escanor type thing be like a major thing going forward, as I feel like we are in desperate need now that the rest of the sins are coming in. I want an Escanor reference, or them remembering Escanor, or something like that. Then I think people are just craving to see someone use Sunshine again. But yeah, that's really my thoughts and opinions on what Mael's role in the story could potentially be. Again, primarily the idea that he's going to pass down Sunshine to a worthy successor. But what do you guys think? Do you think Mael will appear in the story, and if so, what is his role going to be? Do you agree with my takes, my opinions? Just blind theory crafting on Mael's role for the story? Or do you have your own ideas on what Mael could do in the story going forward? Leave your thoughts and opinions down below, as well as any other things you'd like me to talk about in the future for the Four Knights of the Apocalypse. And if you want to support the channel more directly, don't forget to check out my Patreon and Ko-fi accounts, as I do want to get more videos out in quick succession aside from my usual chapter reviews. And I really, really want things to continue growing, as I want to do more Four Knights content in the future, whether it be pure speculation videos or just full-on theory crafting with actual evidence from the main story. And also don't forget to check me out on Instagram and Twitter once more to help me out and to see what I'm doing outside of making videos and stuff like that. Once more, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really does help, and hope you all have an awesome day.